Welcome in, Cowboys Nation, a Cowboy Game Day Live, the pregame show. Jesse, Holley, Skywalker still. Week 16, Cowboys, Bucs. We did get some information before we came on here, Jesse, so the stakes have changed a little bit, but not for the Bucs. But the stakes have changed, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get into everything, what's up with you, though, Jess?
I'm good, man. What's going on with you, brother?
Been good, man. We're doing a lot of different type of work today. Got some football going on. We've been waiting all day for Sunday night. And as we were waiting, we found out that the Dallas Cowboys have officially been eliminated from playoff contention. Oh, we're all crying. No, we're not. We're really not. I think a lot of people kind of been waiting for this thing to end so that they can focus. Well, people already been focused on the draft, but so that we can know exactly where the Cowboys will be for the draft slot. And we know for a fact, though, at the very least, be in the top 18 of the draft.
Yeah, this thing has kind of been not a if, but when, right? Like this,
right.
We knew kind of when Dak Prescott went out, that was the first inkling that this season was probably going to go downhill. And then you go on a like 4 or 5 game losing streak and, you know, things aren't looking the best. And we were just marching. We were marching to death. Right. And there was some hope in that, you know, maybe we can make a run and win a couple games in a row. But inevitably, we come to a place where we all kind of knew we were going to get to. And that ended the Cowboys' hope of a playoff appearance this year. The good thing is you don't have to have that letdown of we're in the playoffs and we're going to make a run. and there's this playoff first round loss again. So you can go into 2025 with your mindset on the 2025 season and not have to worry about any heartache and pain in the year of 2025. Just get ready for draft and get ready for OTAs and minicamp and get ready for the season.
It also officially marks the 29th straight season the Cowboys will not have made it to the Super Bowl, not even the NFC Championship. So there are some official things going on here. And next year, if the Cowboys don't do it, at least get to the NFC Championship game, it will officially be 30 years. Because we've been saying 30 for the last few seasons because we've been rounding up. But, boy, if that thing hit 30 for real, Jerry, you got to do something, man. You can't be having that hang over your head. Because I feel like, and I don't mean to go sideways here, I feel like then how long has he owned the team? Because it's going to get to a point where he will have won on a longer drought of non-championship or Super Bowl appearances than he would have from the time he bought the team to the drought started, right? Like, I feel like that will supersede that first, whatever it was, 25 years he owned the team. So it might already pass it, to be honest.
Yeah, when he bought the team in 89?
89, yeah.
Yeah, so, 89. No, because what that 89 would put that at 34 years, 35 years.
Okay, so yeah. So he's getting close. He's getting close.
I don't know how much time he has left on his clock, but the time left to get in there, but it's getting pretty close.
It is, man. And let's get into today's game, because this one, like we said at the top, for the Cowboys, it's really not a whole lot to play for besides pride and the bag and auditioning. But for the Bucs, they are playing to win the NFC South for playoff seeding to get into the playoffs. So they're going to come out with everything they got to get this dub. There is no feeling sorry for in the NFL. So they're not going to come out here and have any pity for you because you may be without XYZ. And when you look at this Cowboys inactive list today, Jesse, you've got Wyatt Thomas, who's been out, Deuce Vaughn, TJ Bass, got hurt last week. Jalen Brooks, a bit of a surprise to me. He got hurt, I don't know if in practice or game or whatnot, but he's out. Tyrus Wheat, Justin Rogers, and then Eric Kendricks is out with the calf. Mind you, no DeMarvion Overshown. So you have no Demo, no Kendricks. They're going to roll with Damone Clark and Maris Leofau and probably Buddy Johnson getting called up. That is a tough loss for this defense, because I feel like Kendricks has been a very steady hand, quality veteran, really good this year, maybe quietly, but he's been really good this season. And not having him today against this offense is big.
It's huge. And the biggest reason why, communication, right? Like Kendrick, he's a green dot wearer. He's the guy that gets everyone lined up. He's the one that has the most experience under this Mike Zimmer offense. And we talk about going up against this Bucs offense. And I know that you've been really big on this guy the last couple of weeks. Liam Cohen.
Yeah, boy.
One of the things that the Cowboys definitely have issues with from a defensive standpoint is always been the pre-snap motion, the eye candy, I'm over here doing one thing, but I'm over here trying to do something else. And so when you take away a guy like Eric Kendricks from that lineup, who can give you the clear communication when things begin to shift and move, and you have exit motions, and you have motion in and motion across and backs in motion, and all these different things that this team will do today offensively.
Yeah.
Not having your signal caller and the guy that can get you lined up correctly and passing things off in Eric Kendricks, I think that's going to pay. That's going to be huge when you're talking about how does that play out for this defense today.
You talked about Liam Cohen, and yes, that is my pet cat offensive coordinator this season. There are a lot of quality offensive coordinators in this league right now, but Liam Cohen is coming out firing in his first. I say first because he technically was the OC in LA with not McClay, McVay, but McVay was calling the plays, right? So that doesn't really count. This is first year calling the plays, and I think he's one of the best coming out of the gate with the first 15. So I think today, I have this in my notes, today is I don't call it an audition, but it's an opportunity for both Liam Cohen and Mike Zimmer to showcase to the rest of the league that for Liam Cohen's case, I belong in the head coach debate, and for Mike Zimmer's case, I belong in the defensive coordinator ranks, whether I'm here in Dallas or elsewhere, because if Mike Zimmer can put a stop to this Bucs offense and Liam Cohen, that might be his best, what do you want to call it, accolade or what have you on his resume for 2024, in my opinion, because the other offense that kind of looked like this was the Detroit Lions, and obviously we know how that game went. So this offense is the best offense, in my opinion, Jesse, since the Detroit Lions, because they can do both throw it and run it better than most of the teams the Cowboys has faced over the last month of the season.
Yeah, when you talk about what Liam Cohen does, he's from that McVay tree. The first thing that comes to mind is, hey, got to have a solid offensive line. And this offensive line, Tampa Bay, right now, according to PFF, really they're the third-ranked offensive line in the league. And what follows behind that? How do I keep this game going well and my quarterback clean? I establish a good running game. I think the best 1-2 punch in the league was, of course, Sonic and Knuckles in Detroit with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Well, you're getting ready to go against probably the number 2 running back duo in the league in Rashard White and Bucky Irvin. And just a few numbers for those two guys. They're second in yards per carry as a group at 5.2 yards a carry. Right now, Irving is ranked 4th. White is ranked 5th. They're second in the NFL with yards after contact. Together, they have over 1,000 yards after contact, and they're 16th in broken tackles with 23 as a duo. So you're talking about a solid offensive line, a coordinator who is consistently doing pre-snap motion, and then you have 2 really good young running backs. And those have always, that combination, a creative offensive coordinator, a good offensive line, and a 2-headed monster in the backfield, that is historically given the Cowboys a ton of trouble. So to your point, if Mike Zim wants to come out today and really put it on the line and let his nuts hang and let us know, like, I don't care who you put me up against, I got the goods that's going to be able to go out there and help your team win. Today is a great opportunity to go out there and show it, because let's be honest, Sky, we've praised the defense for what they've been able to do the last couple of weeks. But we've all had a little bit of skepticism in the back of our heads of saying, yeah, they did well because it was the Giants and it was the Panthers and it was these other teams that didn't perform well throughout the season. Yeah. This is really going to be their first opportunity at showing themselves against a quality opponent. The Atlanta Falcons won today, so they're keeping that tight push against Tampa Bay for the number 1 spot in the NFC South. So Tampa Bay's going to come out tonight with a lot to play for.
Yeah, Bucky Irvin leads the league in yards after contact at the running back position. Not only do they have the 2-headed monster, they have I don't call it 3-headed monster, but they use 3 different backs. They have 3 backs that have over about 50 touches. And the Cowboys, the running back by committee, they're showing you how to use a running back by committee. And they use them all in different ways. There's cool alignments. They can play smash mouth downhill football. They're pulling guards. They're using H-backs, pulling tackles. It's a tough run game to deal with, especially when you understand, well, damn, I have to deal with what he does from a schematic standpoint on the back end or against your defense, that is, with a Mike Evans and Cade Otton and Baker Mayfield, who has been playing some good ball. Now, he'll turn the ball over. And that's where the Cowboys are going to have to take advantage of this. That's where Mike Zimmer, if they can stop this run a little bit, we'll have to throw some different things at him. And that's what Mike talked about. Hey, we've been able to get into those third down looks to kind of trip up some of these quarterbacks. But it starts with stopping the run. And they've done a solid job. No, they've done a good job at doing that the last 3 weeks because they went up against teams, in my opinion, that don't have the dual threat complement of it. Either they're a really good pass team that is not a really good run team, or they're a good run team that doesn't have the quarterback or the passing options. They'll have both today. And if they can come out and like I said, thwart this offense, I think it says a whole lot about Mike Zimmer and a whole lot about some of those guys over there. We're giving them praise, rightfully so. But this test here is the best one, I think. And yeah, I know Philly came through here to Dallas and they dropped 30-something points after the first half, right? I know we did a pretty good job against the Bengals, but what happened when they needed to get the stop? They went right down the field and got the touchdown to win the game. So it's like, yes, we've seen them against good quarterbacks and good offenses, but if you Texans, same thing. It looked good, but they dropped 30-something on you. They weren't able to really hold it down all game, and you might have to do that because your offense up until last week wasn't scoring 3 touchdowns, but they happened to break that streak, Jesse, against a team that was worse, the worst in the National Football League and giving up touchdowns. So it's tough.
Yeah, no. On the Mike Zimmer point, you're talking about also facing a hot quarterback. The Bucs are on a 4-game winning streak, and in that time, Baker Mayfield has thrown for over 1,000 yards, 1,112 yards, 8 touchdowns. But to your point, 5 interceptions. Baker Mayfield, he has that gunslinger mentality, right? You think about the old school Aaron Rodgers and the old school Brett Favre, where they think that no play is ever dead. The problem is Baker Mayfield doesn't have the arm talent as those guys. Not saying that he can't throw the football, but it's an exceptional, guys like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, they have
all-time arms. Yeah.
They got a cannon attached to their arms. And so sometimes Baker Mayfield, he'll start rolling out one way or another or backing up. And he's a gamer, right? Like Baker Mayfield's a gamer. And sometimes his gamer mentality gets away from him and he'll put the ball in harm's way. But they are rolling right now. Like I said, 4 games in a row. They're looking towards the playoffs and looking to fight for that number 1 seed in the AFC. So they're going to come out today and really try to stick it to the Cowboys and see if the Cowboys got some quit on them. They're if the Cowboys know coming to this game, our season is done, our season is over. Tampa's going to press them and see, are you going to quit? Can we do enough early in this football game where you lay down and say, all right, cool, uncle, you got me, you twisted my arm, we're going to lay down and let you win this game because we have something to play for and you don't. Or the Cowboys going to come out defensively and say, you know what, screw that. We're spoilers from here on out. Everything that we do here on out, we're trying to mess up seedings. We're trying to mess up, playoff implications. We're trying to screw things up. We want to make things as difficult as possible for every team that we have to face going forward to have playoff hopes and its implications.
I feel like defensively for the Cowboys to have a chance here, Micah's going to have to be a huge presence, right? And I use those words. I was thinking of the words to use carefully because Micah can have a game like he had with the Cincinnati Bengals, and a lot of people will say, oh, well, it wasn't a good game. But if you go watch the tape, he was extremely impactful. You just need others to step up and make those plays when he's flushing guys out. He's having 3 dudes on him. He's getting protection slided to him. You need other guys to step up. But I think tonight we're going to have to get him to have one of those 1.5, 2 sack games, as well as get all the protection slid to him if it is, and other guys stepping up. Because if they cannot get to him, which teams have struggled, or at least teams last week have struggled getting to him, only 1 sack in regards to Baker Mayfield against the number 1 scoring defense, by the way, Jesse. That's the number 1 scoring defense they dropped 40 points on with the Chargers. If you can't get to him, it's going to be tough to cover in the back end with no digs back there, just a revolving door at corner. The safeties still aren't the best covering type safeties. So I feel like Micah's going to have one of those type games, man, one of those impactful games.
No, here's the thing. Micah Parsons is just a dominant figure. Since Micah has come back, this team has 24 total sacks. It's the most in the league in that time frame. They also have 13 takeaways, which ranks them third in that time since Micah comes back. He, as Baldy likes to call him, he is the Micah Parsons problem. Absolutely no doubt about that. But he's going to have his hands full today. I know that he gets moved around a lot today, but he's going to go out there against a formidable opponent in Tristan Wirfs. And so, and these are the type of games, and be honest with you, I like these type of games because,
that's the best.
You're a wrestling fan, and in the words of the great Ric Flair, in order to beat a man, you got to beat the man, right? And so when you go up against one of the premier left tackles in the league, it says something about you if you can go out there and dominate him. And if not dominate him, make his life a living hell for the majority of the game. And that shows your worth. It's easy when you go out there and you beat Joe Blow up and down the football field. But when you're faced good on good, I love that. I love that level of competition. And I know that Micah does the same. Micah, he relishes these moments to go up and say, okay, if I consider myself the best edge rusher in this league, then I need to go out here and face the best left tackles and right tackles and offensive lines and go out there and still be able to dominate. So Micah in the lineup is definitely a game changer. It has been. The numbers show that. But also, to your point, Micah will definitely have to go out here today and create those matchups and allow for those others to do what they, he has to go out here and be good enough to where the others have to make a play. Now, do they make it or not? That's yet to be determined. But Micah has to be the person that creates those opportunities for guys like Lawson and Golson and Osa and others to make those impactful plays in this game. And also when he has the opportunity to get to Baker Mayfield, who can be loosey-goosey with the football, again, who likes to think no play is ever dead. And Baker's a mobile guy, right? He has a little bit of athleticism in him, like I said earlier. He's a gamer. So he's going to try to keep plays alive, extend plays, and hopefully try to make plays down the football field. Micah needs to be in there at times, wreaking havoc, and see if he can't possibly come up with some big plays for himself and for the other people on his team. And
that right tackle is a good one too. I believe it's like Godecki, or I can't pronounce his name, but he hasn't given up a ton of sacks and pressures either. So they're really stout at the left and right tackle. However, before last week, they gave up 4 sacks in back-to-back weeks. So if I'm Mike Zimmer, as a viewer of football and just loves football, I would love to see Wirfs on Micah a lot, right? But as a Cowboy fan or as a game planner, why would I run him into an all-pro every single time? So I'm looking for Mike Zimmer to find the scrub on that offensive line, and that's more so the interior as opposed to their tackles. Let's see if we can get a lot of Micah Parsons attacking those A-gaps, maybe some loops, some stunts, and getting at the quarterback right now, because I love what your boy Jeff says a lot. There's always that one moment in the game where a quarterback doesn't realize just how fast and athletic and good he is until they're like, God damn, the lion is on me already. So I like when he's coming free, and when he does, it's usually on those loops or it's attacking the A-gaps, and there's nowhere for the quarterback to go. So hopefully they move him around a bit.
And what's great about those, when you talk about what makes the tackle in twist, what makes the TEs or ET stunts successful, it's always about the push that you can get. If I'm a guy like Micah Parsons, a lot of times he doesn't necessarily get the initial praise from it, but when he's lined up over those guards or over those centers and he's rushing those A gaps and those B gaps and they're doing those stunts, what you want to be able to do is you want to have those offensive linemen off. You don't want to have them on the same level. You want them to be so consumed with a block that they actually miss the other guy coming around. And so when that happens, that's when you create those gaps, and you see Micah Parsons being able to seep through there, or you see guys like Lawson and Golson and Osa being able to loop around and have that leverage, because that guard is so focused on getting out of his stance and staying on Micah Parsons that his head is into the chest and the face of Micah, and he misses the other guy looping around as Micah's coming up the field this way. So those are the ways that they're allowed to make those things successful, is to getting those offensive linemen on different levels and occupying them with blocks so that they have that leakage. And then when the quarterback think there is a lane for him to step up into, nope, here comes that other guy looping around right into that space. 2 guys have been consumed because the guard's still on him and the tackle gets caught up in the wash, and now you have a free you have a free lane to the quarterback to make some plays. So those are important things that the Cowboys need to do up front, and it all starts and ends and begins. He is the alpha and the omega of getting pressure on this defense, and his name is Micah Parsons.
That is very true. Let's switch to the other side of the ball, and to do that, let's go ahead and hit our game day pick'ems, brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code ATOZ to sign up. ATOZDALLAS to sign up and get a $1,000 deposit match for the #1 fantasy platform, Underdog Fantasy Sports. So as we switch to the other side of the ball, I got 3 pick'ems for you here today. They all involve the Buccaneers defense and the Cowboys offense, and I'll give we'll break it down a little bit why I have them where they're at here. Let's start off with the Cowboys. CD Lamb, higher or lower 1.5 first quarter receptions. Jesse, smash the higher on this because he's probably going to get the first 2 plays going to him, or the first 2 attempts going. We're talking about screens. We're talking about get the ball in his hands quick. He's getting at least 2 receptions in the first quarter, Jesse. We're trying to make y'all money. Come on,
without a shadow of a doubt, higher.
Trying to make you money here. Okay, let's go to the Bucs here. Higher or lower? Levante David, a half sack. Let me tell you why I got higher. We'll break it down a little bit more when we break down this matchup here. The maniac on the other side of the ball for the Bucs is Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles likes to send the blitz a lot. Todd Bowles likes to disguise the blitz. He can do simulated pressures. Levante David's a guy that he sends on a lot of blitzes. He has 2.5 sacks the last 2 weeks. I can see it happening this week because Cooper Rush is not a mobile quarterback. Offensive line still dealing with some newer guys in there. And I just, I know Cooper didn't get sacked a lot last week, but this is a different defensive line. Vita Vea there, better linebackers, better defensive coordinator. I got higher for Levante David.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that happen. Like you said, Vita Vea is going to be a handful in the middle of that defense. So definitely I'm going to go higher.
Last one here, Cooper Rush, higher or lower? It says half interception. So throwing a pick or not throwing a pick. I want to hear what you got to say. Where you got it at? Higher or lower for Cooper Rush, throwing a pick or not throwing a pick in this game?
Through the whole game?
Whole game.
I'm going to say higher.
Yeah.
I'm going to say higher.
Yeah, I want higher on this one because of the pressure, Jesse. These guys dial up the pressure a whole lot. They have 105 quick pressures this season, second most in the NFL, and they get home in 2.5 seconds. That's the 4th quickest in the NFL. And Cooper Rush's average is 4.8 yards per attempt when he's pressured. And if they get up and Cooper Rush has to try to keep up, we know that he's prone to making some turnovers. Now this season, it's been fumbles, a lot of fumbles, 9 fumbles since he's taken over as a starter. He's lost 3 or 4 of them. He only has thrown 3 picks. So that's why I think this one's a bit tricky, but I feel like this Buccaneers offense will make you try to force some things just like the Cincinnati Bengals did. And what happened? He threw an interception. So I got higher here.
Yeah, especially you look the way that he played last week, and if Xavier Woods had any situational awareness and ball awareness, he would have had 2 interceptions in that game. And you see all the difficult catches that CeeDee Lamb has to make: high, low, behind, up, down, and eventually you just know, hey man, one of these balls are going to get tipped, and you're going to throw a ball inside when it should be outside, and the guy going to step in front of it and be in the trail position. So he's been flirting a lot with more turnovers from the interception perspective. So yeah. I definitely feel like 1 is definitely enough. That
is our game day pick'ems presented by Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you use the promo code ATOZDALLAS when you sign up. Let's pick it up right there, Jesse, because I was looking at this Buccaneers defense and I'm like, the last 4 weeks they've been holding teams to 15 points per game. And I'm like, okay, who they playing? All right, they playing some bad offenses, but the Cowboys are a bad offense. So it's like, how do I not put them in that category? I know Rico Dowdle has 300-yard games. I know last week you put up 3 touchdowns against the worst defense in the NFL. I don't think the Buccaneers is the worst defense in the NFL. I think this is a little bit different. So, I don't expect this offense to really be able to match serve. You know what I mean? I think the Cowboys defense has a better opportunity to match the intensity of the Bucs offense more than I think this offense led by Cooper Rush can match the intensity of the Bucs defense and Todd Bowles and Vita Vea up front, Levante David. I think it's going to be tough. But if they're going to, they have to protect and they got to continue to run that. I'm running the ball 40, 45 times a day. Just that plain and simple.
You know what? Run Rico one.
Yeah.
And with the real Rico Dowdle, please stand up, because I need to know. Like, I truly do need to know who is the real Rico Dowdle. Like, I said this all week. I've put Rico in 3 different categories, and I don't know which one to truly set my focus in. There's the first category of, this was a guy who couldn't stay healthy and, struggled reading holes and setting up blocks earlier in the year and had to compete with Zeke. And I know there's some other factors in that. But then there's this other guy who we've seen in the last couple of weeks where he's upped his career highs and carries and in yards for the last 3 weeks. And then I go, well, was that the guy because they were playing against poor competition, because he didn't do these things against the greater competitions? And so I'm like, all right, which one are you? And I think starting tonight, and of course these next 2 games, we get a chance to see who is the real Rico Dowdle, who is the real Cowboys offensive line, right? Guys like Brock Hoffman and Cooper Beebe is back, and like who are these guys? And so tonight, I think, kicks off that campaign for, okay, Rico, show us that against competition that is equal to or greater than you, that you can still go out here and put up 100-yard games and still be able to run the ball at a high clip of 4.5 yards, a carry, and have the EPA success rate that you've been having the last couple of weeks. So all of these things I want to see on display right now. And I agree with you. I think, running the ball, I think 45 is a lot. I think 45 is a whole lot. But we got to be in that.
I'm aiming high, Willis. I'm aiming high.
But we have to be in that 27 to 32 carries as a running back unit in this day, because the less we get, that means Cooper Rush is passing the ball more, and I don't think that's a recipe for success. So if the real Rico Dowdle was who we saw in the last 3 weeks, then that will be a recipe for success for the Cowboys offensively if you're running the ball 25, 27, 29, 31 times in this ball game, and he's getting that good percentage of 4.5, 5 yards a carry. So I want to see it. I want to see it. And for Rico, make some money. This is how you go out there and you make some money. If you can go out there and say, yep, it wasn't just Carolina, and it wasn't just the awful Bengals defense, and it wasn't the awful Giants defense. I'm him. I'm really like that. I had to get my groove. Y'all was trying to hold me back early in the year and only want to give me the ball 8, 9, 10 times. Now, when you give it to me 20 plus times, this is what you get. So with a real Rico Dowdle, please stand up and show yourself to be true or false in this game tonight.
This is a great stat by Next Gen. The Buccaneers have loaded the box 58.2% of the time, the highest rate in the NFL. The Cowboys have averaged just 3.4 yards per carry against loaded boxes, the 5th fewest in the NFL. Now, I understand, things have changed a little bit over the last few weeks, so it'll be very interesting to see just how successful, like you said, they will be when teams load up to stop Rico. And if they do so, then the next most important stat is if they decide to run blitz or they decide to single up and man up on the outside, going to need Cooper Rush to take advantage of the man defense like he has over the last number of weeks. Since week 11, he's averaged 9.5 or 9.9 yards per attempt against man. So when he sees man out there, he ain't got no problem just throwing it up, giving whomever it may be a chance. Jalen Brooks down the sideline, Tober.
It ain't no whomever. It ain't no whomever. It ain't no
Lamb.
whomever. It's 88. Okay, it ain't no whomever. It's been 88. 88.
This is facts.
I think you said it last week. He is quarterback proof. So it ain't been no everybody else. And it's been 88.
Definitely been.
It's been 88. And listen. Not mad at it one bit.
No, it has to be.
Not mad at it one bit. If you're going to YOLO that thing, if you're going to throw it to somebody, if you're going to hang your hat on getting it somewhere, and they're going to go man-to-man, then damn it, get it to the best football player on the football field and CeeDee Lamb.
But see, the YOLOs ain't been to him. That's the problem. I know. The YOLOs have been 50-yard lollipop to Jalen Brooks against Washington, 40-yard to Jalen Tolbert. Roll out, throw that thing up 30 yard, whatever in the red zone to whoever it is screaming in the back of the red zone, and there's no awareness by Xavier Woods, right? That's who it's been to, and I think that's helped take it up. Also, what's helped take it up, I think, is getting the ball to CeeDee Lamb right now, right? And then Lamb using his yak to get a lot of yards. So I don't care how it needs to get done. I often say by hook or crook, if they man up, he needs to take advantage of it. And 9.9 times out of 10 is going to be the CeeDee Lamb. We know that for sure. It's mostly been 13 targets to CeeDee, 2 targets to any other receiver, not Brandon Cooks. So if it's a winning recipe, keep it going. But here's the thing, though, Jesse, and that's why I said this is an interesting stat here, or important stat. The Bucs don't run a whole lot of man. They run zone the 4th highest, I believe. Let me see it. The 2nd highest rate in the NFL. 84% of dropbacks, they are running zone. And Cooper Rush has not been good in that. 5.2 yards per attempt against zone coverage. The Bucs have allowed just the 7th fewest yards per attempt in zone. So this is one of those situations where we've seen Coop a lot of the time say, I don't give a damn. This ball is going to my first read. You might want to relax on that and sift through the progressions. I don't think he's not a progression quarterback. He is 1, 2, 3. I'm throwing the damn ball to wherever I premeditated going to by hook or crook. And as a backup, whatever, as long as he's not turning the ball over, just get it in there. But I'm pretty sure Todd Bowles is watching the film and he's going to bait Cooper Rush into either A, an interception thrown to his first read, or B, having to come off that first read. It's a zone blitz, and we're dealing with that. So we talk about Matt Servin. Michael from Pittsburgh is going to have to match serve Todd Bowles to help out a Cooper Rush, because Cooper Rush he's not getting to the line of scrimmage post snap and beating you with his head, his brain. He is, hey man, if I got a man here, I'm going here. Hey man, if you ain't dropping in that zone, it's going here. There is going to be no cerebral assassin here. So Mike is going to have to help him out, in my opinion. And I'm not saying he's not smart. I'm just saying that's not his game on the field. It may be his game in the classroom, but it ain't his game on the field.
Correct. And that's why play action pass is such a huge key to being able to get those linebackers and those guys to commit to the line of scrimmage so that those clear pictures are presented in the back end. So I can see whatever my first read is in that zone and get the ball to him. And I'm not having to hold the ball for a long time to try to sift through all of that stuff. So the play action is going to be big. The tight end should be big. Yeah. Getting the ball in the flat should be big. Again, anything that gets the ball out of Cooper Rush's hands quickly, even in the zone.
And that's what he does.
Answers in the zone, right? There's answers in the zone if you have to but you do have to read the right side. And I do think Cooper has the ability to kind of look at it and go, okay, look like it's heavy over here. Let me go to this side or check it down. Because what you just don't want to, if you can consistently stay ahead of the sticks, then you give yourself a chance. It's when you get to those 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 9s is when you kind of find yourself in no man's land, because when they drop into that coverage and you're trying to sift through things and it's not really working out for you because you're locked in on one way and you can't work your way back to the 2nd or 3rd progression. That's what hurts the quarterback. That's what gets you in trouble. That's when the ball gets put in harm's way. But the play action will work well. Get the tight end down the middle of the field. That's where the open areas are. Use some of those over routes. Use some of those things where you're posting guys up, a la how Travis Kelce does in Kansas City. Just find the soft spot and sit there. And I'm going to come to you with the ball right now. But if the Cowboys find themselves behind, that's when this thing can get real sticky.
That's when it can get real sticky. There will be a kickoff here in the next few minutes. Very important first half for the Cowboys, because you don't, like you just said, you don't want to get behind against this team, because then Todd Bowles will dial it up and Liam Cohen does not let off at all. And this is going to be a team that's going to come out hungry to try to win the NFC South. We'll see if the Cowboys can match that energy. We say it every time, Jesse, right? Like, especially on primetime in Jerry World, you don't have a home field advantage in that sense. These guys love to come play in Jerry World and say, oh my gosh, look at this, man. We on the big 60-yard screen. We in Jerry World. It's primetime. It's Sunday night football. We've been waiting all day for Sunday night. They're going to come out with a lot of energy. The Cowboys have to be able to match.
And if I'm not mistaken, Baker is a state of Texas kid. Mike Evans is a state of Texas kid. So that, those are the two guys, and we haven't even talked about Mike Evans, but those are the two guys right there. You look at, they're going to come in this place pretty juiced up. They both played in the AT&T Stadium before as collegiate athletes and as professional athletes. So they're going to come in here pretty juiced up. trying to show themselves, worth being back home around the holidays and give themselves and their team a nice little Christmas present.
The most important part of this first half to me is the first 15. I mentioned at the start of this. I'll close out the pregame show with this. Liam Cohen is one of the best, top 3, top 5, maybe not 2 or 3, if you know what I'm saying. He is really good at coming out with a great game plan and getting up fast. Go watch the Chargers game if you don't believe me. Okay, they come out and they score really quickly. If Mike Zimmer and those boys can stop these guys in that first 15, I like the Cowboys' chances, but I got the Bucs tonight getting the victory. Jesse, what say you?
Yeah, I say the same. I think the Bucs are fighting for a lot more. It's that offense for me. It's the eye candy. It's the pre-snap motion. It's the confusion. It's the big play opportunity. It's Baker being a mobile quarterback. Mike Evans being still one of the great receivers in this league. I think, and in that two-headed running game, man, when you watch those two guys, Bucky Irvin and Rashad White, but Bucky Irvin in particular. Yeah. I mean, those are two dudes that are tough to stop. You don't have your signal caller in Eric Kendrick. You don't have Demo. Now you're putting some more guys in there. You're down so many guys. So I think it's going to be a tough sledding for the Cowboys today. I got the Bucs winning this game. All
right, we'll see you guys at halftime, and hopefully it's a good first half. There's been a lot of good games today, and ain't got to worry about no attitude from me. And see, no playoffs, so we can just sit back and watch with no emotions going crazy. We chilling, man. We chilling, just hoping for a good game. That's all, Jesse.